For some time I've been wanting to make the following video, which is a part one. There's going to be some follow-up to this, which is a video about Heilung's song Anoana. Just talking about it, the music video and the song, before sort of going into a deep dive just to find out if there's anything more to it, where they got the inspiration for the song from. So it was like my number one listened to song last year, somehow, incredibly, according to YouTube. So I have given this sort of some thought, so I hope I articulate it well. But I just want to talk about the music video more than anything else. To begin with, let's just say in the music video there are 4 participants, if you like. The child, that I know want to assume is Anoana, but I don't want to assume either. It's just that it could be a name, could be something else. But there's the child, and also in other parts of the video, the child grown. Second participant is the mother that gives birth to the child. Thirdly, let's just call it the beast. While during the process of thinking about making this video, I've wanted to refer to it as an auroch, but it's not exactly clear, having watched the video multiple times, what animal it's meant to be. But I'm just going with it's a supernatural animal of some sort, and just going to call it the beast. Doesn't mean it's horrible, however, doesn't mean it's nice either. Finally, the other participation that's in the video is the band themselves. Obviously, mainly focused on Maria, the lead singer, but you do get the other guys as well. And they participate in the video in a sort of interaction as though they are the storytellers, or perhaps they are the story. That's a speculative point that, maybe it's a big thing, maybe it isn't. Maybe I've just overthought this video too much. There's also some specific settings, which is the forest, which seems to be a very lush green environment. You've got the grassland or the scrub land where the beast is, and then you've also got the beach and the sea, which features sort of in the distance, or is where the band themselves are. And I like to think that this sort of creates sort of a reality, a spirit world, and that the beast in the scrubland is kind of like a guardian of the 2 different worlds, perhaps, maybe the dweller at the threshold, if you like. And also, I didn't really notice it straight away, but obviously there's also an eclipse going on, and this is something that's part of the symbology for the music video. I feel it's sort of not just sort of when the band are participating in the ritual, but when the child is born, and it's there, and it's like worth sort of noting. What I do want to say is, I think the child does an incredible job of her performance. Obviously, it's a music video, and you don't have a lot to probably work with, but I do feel she's thoroughly convincing as this innocent child that sort of makes her way from being born to adulthood. And there's just a few little moments where she has an expression or that, and then you feel thoroughly sold by the story you're seeing in the music video. I did note down that one of the things that seems to be a theme within it is the ability to give life, and understanding what Heilung or Heilung means to the band and to their bands and that. It's just like, obviously healing is one thing, but the ability to give life is also important and not to be sort of underappreciated. Um, and perhaps that's the thing. That's the what we hold dear about this song in particular. Having seen them recently, having seen them live recently, this is one of those songs that the moment it starts, it's Heilung going to a different level. It oozes sort of just a classic sort of song that you relate to immediately. You connect to it in a way that, it's. I'm not saying really that a lot of their other songs are just mediocre or average. They've done a lot of good songs, but the moment Anoana starts, it's like next level performance, next level delivery of a song. It's a really good song, and needs sort of to be appreciated. If you haven't heard it, I mean, what rock have you been living under? Or sort of like look it up to hear it. It's a good song. Anyway, let's go into the music video. So we get the intro, and we get sort of the child, first of all, performing ritual, which then cuts to Maria, the main singer of the band, doing the same ritual. And that's one of the things where I was like referring to earlier, just like the band telling the story, or is the child telling the story of the band? Either way, they're sort of completing a circle almost in performing the same ritual. But it's a good way to get the song going, and sort of just getting the idea that there's this spirituality and reality in different parts that are coming into connection. We then cut to the child being born. So the mother has her sort of appearance where she's sort of going through a tough childbirth, I guess. I mean, it's not something that's ever easy, I don't think. I mean, not been through it personally. I have been at the birth of my children, but I've not sort of, I've done my best to support as I can in childbirth, but it's not an easy task to sort of go through. And obviously the child is not a normal human child, and it's kind of my assumption that the reason the mother doesn't survive is because the child is has the antlers, and without going into too much detail, let's just say that mum doesn't survive childbirth. She lasts long enough to sort of hold the child, and and as we see later in the video, whisper some words which I guess are sort of moments of magic. And that's kind of important for how the story in the music video plays out. What we then cut to is seeing the child in the forest as a free spirit, enjoying being in nature, being a child of the forest. You get the impression that obviously she acknowledges the elk, and the elk is quite indifferent to her, which you could sort of say, well, that's a bit rude, maybe. And even the child, for a split second, he's like, what, okay. But then it's just that sort of, whatever, I do my own thing, and doesn't care. as we reach sort of an adjustment in the song and the male vocals come in, we then see the child groan. And it's clearly the child groan just because of the same outfit, antlers. And quickly we see her making an address of some sort to someone or some people. For me, I translate that as a statement of intent to take action, which is sort of regarding the beast. And we'll kind of get to that because it seems to me that's very much the story we see unravel, is because the child grown finds her mother's necklace, connects to it in some way, learns the truth. And the truth is that the beast sort of, and the child's mother got it on. Maybe there was love there. Can't really know for sure. But cut a long story short, the beast is the child's father. And I think sort of the truth that the child grown learns is that this was a fate that the beast knew would happen. So it's that sort of is responsible for her mother's death, knew that the child being born would kill her mother, and the beast knew this was the way things would proceed. Which then leads us to really the final part of the video. We see that as the child, maybe shunned by the animals of the forest, she explored, found the beast, loved the beast as a father figure, perhaps not realizing it was her father, spent time with him, was welcomed by him. However, I also think there's always this, the dynamic between the mother, the father and the child is that there's this expectancy of destiny. So that when we see sort of the child is able to bring a bird back to life, she has these abilities to nurture, to give. Maybe it's a representation of Mother Nature. I don't know. I say that's something for part 2 of the video to sort of look into the inspiration for the song. As we reach the end of the song, the child grown is challenging the beast. And I think the beast has been expecting this, accepts the challenge, and we see the two running headlong at each other to clash. And then, of course, as is a classic for music videos that like to tell stories, what happens after? Well, that's for us to decide, I feel, or for you, or for us to converse about, because what does happen next? Does the child grown defeat the beast? Does the beast crush the child grown? Because, you know, there's a lot of weight and power in his bulk compared to her. Or do they both die? I mean, that would be the tragic story, is there's this inevitable confrontation that no one wins. Or maybe, you know, the child grown is victorious, and the spiritual side of what's in this story being told is able to connect with reality, and we have these worlds being able to come together because the beast is then no longer standing as an obstacle in the way. So it's possible I may have overthought this video a little bit. I don't know. I mean, it's what do you think? Please comment if you want to. we'll see what happens. Like I say, I will be looking more in depth into the band's comments about the song or their influences for writing the song and see what that uncovers. But I'd like to sort of create this video before I do that to see if I'm sort of like picking up on the right vibes or getting it horribly wrong. Either way, enjoy the song, enjoy the video, and listen to this. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.